It's ended in a 2-2 draw, but another controversial decision from a referee who showed 2 yellow cards to Rico Lewis. Pep Guardiola goes over to Rob Jones and questions exactly why he had to send off Rico Lewis, and probably why he had to blow the whistle with Doku racing away. But the fact is, it's a tough ask for the Blues. They've come from behind twice. They've shown personality and character to grab a point. The final score here at Selhurst Park: Crystal Palace 2, City 2. Rico Lewis red card as well as a goal. Plenty for the guys to think about. Well, let's go back to the studio where Keith Curle and Kit Symons will have plenty to say, I'm sure, to Chris Latcham.
Yes, I'm sure they will, and we can see the City players going over to the away fans at Selhurst Park. Captain Carl Walker, handshakes for his goalkeeper, and Pep Guardiola handshakes to the Crystal Palace players. Often does that. I think his biggest of handshakes was for Will Hughes, who created both of those Palace goals. Another point, and Palace, after a tricky start under Oliver Glasner, are putting together a fairly decent run of avoiding defeats. Not to be for Manchester City, but I wonder, with having Rico Lewis sent off twice, having come from behind, Kit Symons, Keith Curle, are Manchester City just going to take the point, get back to Manchester and be glad of that, or frustrated at 2 that got away?
Again, well, both teams are earning a point, and you say Palace will be the happier. And again, I think that's the level of the standards that have been set by Man City at the minute, that we look to win every game. Disappointing to go behind twice, but and even then, when you get back level the second time, you're thinking we just need that little bit extra.
Kit, we're going to get your review in just a second as the referee Rob Jones makes his way towards the tunnel. We are going to head straight to Selhurst Park for an on-the-whistle reaction from Michael Brown and Natalie Pike.
Time here at Selhurst Park has finished 2-2. The players are just going over to the away fans in the corner. You can see them down there. Joined still by Michael Brown. What did you think of that?
Well, I had a little bit of everything. We knew it was going to be a difficult afternoon, conditions, etc. I think we deserved it in the end. That just didn't seem to fall. Rico Lewis, just as we were getting momentum, was very unfortunate to have that red card, but we can't keep conceding goals like that. That's a difficulty, uphill task, always trying to fight, but we've seen some good things in the performance, but ultimately at this level, the standard of what we demand, and Pep obviously demands from his side, is to get those 3 points, especially when we're on the chase.
Yeah, we've got to give us credit for fighting back twice. Obviously conceding in the 4th minute is the absolute worst possible start.
Yeah, the worst start, but the team recovered. So whenever you know, what do you do, what happens next? Then we had the control, created lots of chances. Haaland had a great effort quite quickly after the goal, save with Henderson on the side of the head. And then we've seen some good actions. We've seen Rico Lewis, a lovely goal. That's a real positive, scoring against Crystal Palace again. But overall, you have to make sure you get a result. We talked about being professional, grinding out results. And this team will be so disappointed. That dressing room will be feeling that another one's got away. But ultimately, you have to find it when times are hard. You look around in that dressing room. He's in. He's got to learn a little bit more. But the manager will be disappointed because he could have closed that gap at the top.
I mean, you can hear from the fans here that, I mean, the Crystal Palace fans are going mad for their players that are walking off. A 2-2 draw for Palace. This means a lot to them. But I want to look for the positives from the game. So first of all, the fact that City fought back on 2 occasions. Then Erling Haaland back on the score sheet. Obviously, it's been 3 Premier League games that he hasn't scored. He scored today. That's a positive.
Yeah, it's a positive. He could have had more as well. He was involved. I thought his hold-up play was really good today. He made things happen when it didn't look like there was any chance of keeping the momentum. But ultimately, you know, we can talk about performances, we can talk about little things in games. Ruben Diaz was immense with his blocks, determination not to get beat, but you can see the disappointment, can't you? And what it means just to get a point off City for other clubs. It means the world, doesn't it? But Jeremy Doku, they'll go back and think, what could we have done? Why did it happen? Why did we not take the 3 points? And it's great to see De Bruyne as well. This man last on our picture coming out and talking to Bernardo Silva. Very, very disappointed not to get the result. But this happens. This is the Premier League, and we're just having it tough at the moment, Natalie.
Yeah, another positive, obviously, the goal by Rico Lewis. Before we move on to the red card, can we just talk about that finish? Because that was an insane finish. Even if you're a striker, that was a finish. But for a defender,
yeah, really good finish. I think you looked initially, it was off that, it was sort of a drop ball, and then Bernardo gets it, reverse pass. Rico Lewis looks to go far side, whizzes it near post into that top corner. Really, really good finish.
In terms of Rico Lewis's red cards, that was 2 yellows. I believe then that he's going to be banned for the Manchester derby next Sunday.
Well, this is the problem when we see those decisions, right? Because he gets a dissent book in which he's got a case to go to the referee and say, is it really a foul? Then the next one, he realises when he dives to try and just stop the momentum, there's no real, the contact's actually on him, but the VAR can't come in, and it's just a crazy decision. You've seen Pep obviously saying, come on, but you know, people will say, when you're on a yellow card, why do you even commit? Why do you even give the referee something to think about? But I've been in that situation lots of times, and he didn't catch him. So we've got to make sure when we're sending players off that it is for something worthwhile, and on that occasion the referee got it wrong.
And even on a yellow card, you can't ask Rico Lewis not to commit. Like, that's who he is.
No, but whoever gets to see the challenge again, I think the discussions will be there. He's very, very lucky, very unlucky to actually come off the field, and for a young man to go through all the emotions, scoring, being involved, and then getting a red card, and something to think about. You'll learn from it. But it's a ridiculous decision. Yeah, and obviously with the current injuries that we have in defence, we only have 4 first-team defenders that were playing today. We're down to 3 first-team defenders now for the game next weekend. So hopefully we might see some recoveries. So the game next weekend, I think there's more to think about. Is what happened today? What happened at the training ground when we go to Juventus on Wednesday? You know, I think the Manchester derby is just away from this team and the squad at this moment in time.
Yes, you're right. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're calming me down. Juventus is the first thing to look at. So that's the positives from me. Haaland back on it. Rico's stunning goal, fighting back from 2 goals. Is there anything else for you we can take from today?
Well, I mean, there's positives all around. The way we controlled possession, reacted, but it's not as slick. We can't be fully taking a real positive when we haven't got a result. And ultimately, we've gone into that situation now where it's a results game. You have to win them, and you have to bridge that gap at the top.
Absolutely. Michael Brown, thank you very much for being here today. Thank you very much, apart from that Schneido comment you made about me during the commentary, but you know, we'll forget about that, shall we? Back to the studio, gentlemen. We are off to try and get warm.
Now, we'd love to let you forget that Schneido comment, but it was you feeding him stats that had been read out in commentary about 15 minutes before. So you got your stats, but by a carrier pigeon, it was a little bit slow, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Brilliant work from them at Pitchside at Selhurst Park. Travel safe, guys, because obviously the weather outside is absolutely awful at the moment. Let's pick up on so many threads that we could pull out there, Kip. We've not heard your reaction to the 2-2 draw. And so we'll just get that first and then unpick everything else. Yeah,
I mean, overall, I thought it was a good game. It was an exciting game. I thought City showed good character, again, to come from behind twice. Both excellent goals as well. So take a lot of pride in that, I think. But moving forward, but the 2 goals we conceded were quite basic. You know, it was a poor line for the first one, and then a free header for the second one. So we're giving away goals far too cheaply still, and I think, you know, everyone's well aware of that. But there was a lot of positives, a lot of good play. De Bruyne was excellent. I mean, Diaz, some of his blocks, some of his defending was outstanding. De Bruyne, link up for the second goal, brilliant finish from Rico, but the quick pass from Kevin was brilliant in the build-up as well. So that's a really good goal, that second one for us. But overall, I think it'll be disappointment will be the overall feeling, I think, because we were, for the vast majority of that second half, totally in control, apart from those small moments, but they're proving to cost us at the minute.
Yeah, funny old afternoon for Rico Lewis, continuing this mad run that he's got of scoring professional goals only against Crystal Palace, 3 in the Premier League, 3 now against Crystal Palace, and a brilliant goal, Keith, but ultimately he's left the game early with a red card, and his teammates on the pitch had a bit of a job to do in the end to salvage a point.
Yeah, and it'll be controversy, or there'll be controversial over the sending off. I think Rico himself will be disappointed with the first booking if it was for showing dissent, or whether it was dissent by verbals. That's something that at a very early age you don't want that in your game. I think I played something like 800 and some odd games, and probably after about 500 I realised no matter what I said to a referee, no matter how right I was, they never changed their mind. So it's one of those, deal with it, get on with it, keep your mouth shut, because it's a cheap booking.
Cheap booking. What do you make of the second booking? We've just heard what Brownie thinks. I have to say, I mean, who cares about my opinion? You guys are the ex-pros. I think it was a foul. And at that stage of the game, unsurprising that a yellow card comes out. I'd be interested to know the views of two defenders.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's dived in, the ball's gone. I mean, the fact of the matter is he kicks sort of at the bottom of his studs, so he's hurt himself more than his opponent, for sure. So it's not a dangerous tackle, but he has dived in and committed. So, to be honest, I can see why the yellow card was given for that. I think it's probably the right decision.
Keith?
You always leave yourself open to a refereeing decision if you make that sort of challenge. And again, was there any need to? No. Do I think he was slightly late with making the challenge and the ball just gone? Yeah. And then you leave the referee nowhere else to go.
Yeah, and literally nowhere else to go, because if that's a straight red card, then VAR could look at it and they might say, oh, you might want to have a second look at that, referee. Because it's a second yellow card, there's no VAR can look at, and also no appeal process.
I mean, like I say, for me, it was never a red anyway. There's no question of that, because he's gone so low. And like I say, the boy's studs his foot is on the ground, but his foot's up, so his studs are showing. And Rico comes into his studs, so he's going to end up hurting himself a lot more than his opponent, but he has come in late. That's the crux of it.
If you have a look at the tackle on Grealish, you know, when City are breaking, I can't remember which player it was, but he just took Grealish out and
it's Eddie Nketiah, I think.
Nketiah, and you think like, well, yeah, that was worthy of a booking, and you think like, and for the team, he's done the right thing, and he stopped City attacking, stopping them from counter-attacking is one of those, and take one for the team. Rico with his challenge there, you're thinking, what have we gained? Nothing, we just lost it. I think the pleasing thing to take out is you have a look, the last 30 seconds or 10 seconds of the game, clear the corner, City looking to break. We're looking to continue the game, as in we still think there's points to be had, which I think is positive. Not there, and we're holding on, saying, "All right, well, let's get out of it." It's one of those, we can catch you on the break.
Some frustration there. There's always going to be frustration. Whichever team is on the break when the final whistle goes will feel that. Give us a chance to complete the break that we're on. But the referee would argue the time is the time is the time. Yeah,
we saw it at Newcastle midweek against Liverpool. You know, Newcastle were breaking right at the end, but when time's up, time's up. You know, just because someone's attacking doesn't mean you carry it on. Got to blow the whistle, I'm afraid.
Yeah, so frustration from Man City on a number of those things. Just to pick up on Rico Lewis as well, it was almost a double whammy because it came at a period of the second half specifically where City were having their best moments, Keith, and it just went against them, and a double triple whammy in the fact that next Sunday is the game that he's going to miss. It's against Manchester United. Yeah,
again, I think the latter stages of the game when it's down to 2-2 and you see Rico getting his goal, getting forward, getting on the inside left position. There's times there where you got Diaz going into the box, trying to. I think he came inside. I can't remember what it was.
Crossing later on, didn't he?
Crossing later on, and you're thinking like, excellent. You know, that's the freedom in the rotation and the movement that they've got. But the worrying thing would be, well, what's he left behind? Which is something that I think needs. When things are going well, you can gamble and you can have that freedom to go and play. When you're going through a sticky period, it's one of those you need a percentage of foundation in your team's play so you can counter attack.
Yeah, I'll tell you what we can do, because you've just been talking about how low the tackle was. Rico, the contact, we've got still of it so we can show our viewers at home. It's just there. So he has gone underneath the challenger's knee, you can see, and stills don't tell the full story. Ultimately, I suppose that's one for all of our viewers to just watch in their own time, make their own judgments. And no doubt many of them will be very frustrated about that, because what the red card means for the Manchester derby next week. Does that leave a bit of a midfield hole, or to a team that are stretched a little bit thin in terms of numbers? Well, certainly it's the last thing we need is another player out. You know, we are numerically challenged at the minute. That's a fact of it. So I'm sure we'll be hoping and will be quite hopeful. I think that a couple of players will be coming back from injury for next week now. So we certainly need them. Let's talk about some positives, should we? It's been a bit glum for a few minutes, right? Erling Haaland back amongst the goals. Good goal as well. Good striker's goal, getting up above Mark Gahey for that looping header. To equalise for the first time that City equalised of twice today in the 2-2 draw. He'd had a bit of a leaner spell for Erling, but that'll give him confidence. Yeah, 3 games without a goal. Would you call that a drought? But for anyone else, maybe not. But for Erling, for Erling, no, he's a goal scorer, and he will score goals. I don't think he had a chance in the second half, did he?
I don't remember a chance that he's had in the second half, but that combination of him and Kevin De Bruyne, you know that will score goals. The important thing is getting them and keeping them both on the pitch at the same time. I think Pep's brought Kevin off near the end, bearing in mind we've got important games coming up as well then. Rico missing. It's one of those, you need Aki or Akanji to be back available, or Pep will find another system that gives somebody else an opportunity.
He'll certainly need to. So the second goal was a thing of beauty, and it was all Kevin De Bruyne in the midfield, just making everybody play a bit faster, think a bit faster, move a bit faster. Quick pass into Bernardo Silva, played it into Rico Lewis. First time finish, like a Haaland finish, whipping the ball straight into the top corner. Absolutely brilliant. And we can hear from the man that created the goal now, the wonderful Bernardo Silva.
Bernardo, that was a tough 90 minutes in really difficult conditions, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Of course, we couldn't do much better than what we did today, even though the conditions, the injuries, all the situation, the moment. But yeah, it was tough today. Yeah.
Yeah, and the lads showed such a lot of character, going behind twice, coming back, all the setbacks we've had lately, with injuries and stuff. It must make you pretty proud to be a part of that group.
Well, yeah, of course, as you said, when we're all together, when the team is complete, we're much stronger, and that's no excuse, but we have to make an effort to bring back the players as quickly as possible, because with the schedules that we have nowadays, it's just difficult to cope with just 12, 13 players, and some of them are not even 100% fit. But yeah, let me just thank our fans for sticking with us and for helping us in this tough moment, because we know how difficult it is for them as well, but they always support us, so thank you for that.
Yeah, a nice assist there for Rico, and such a shame that he got sent off at the end. He didn't deserve that. He played really well, didn't he?
Well, yeah, we have to do better as a team. I don't want to talk about individuals. Obviously, it was bad that he got sent off. I didn't check the tackle yet. I don't know if it's a correct one or not. But what I can say, it was a good goal. It gave us a point, which is better than 0. But we have to do better, yeah.
And last question, we're still going for it, even down to 10 men right at the end. It, again, shows the guts of the team, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, of course, it's never easy to play with one less player. We still try to go for it. And we had a few moments where we could have damaged them a little bit more, even with 10 men. Even when the referee whistles, Jeremy was going on a 1v1 in a counter, but it's football. We accept the moment, we accept the problems that we have, and the only way to come back from this is work even harder, fight harder, and go game by game. So now we go to Juve, the Champions League. We need some points, and we're going to fight very hard for that.
Go and get in before you get blown away. Thanks, Bernardo. Cheers.
He was windy, wasn't it? He needed every ounce of his core strength just to hold him rooted to the spot. You can sense the frustration, and that will be oozing through not just Bernardo, but the rest of the dressing room.
Yeah, I think so. But also, as he said there, a bit of pride about the way the boys stuck together, and they fought right to the end. Even down to 10 men, they were still looking and trying to win the game. So I think they'll take a lot of pride out of that.
Yeah, and he's mentioning looking ahead to Juventus in the Champions League. The big games just come thick and fast. And actually, Keith, we know that in the Champions League, City have got a little bit of work to do. They're already in the position that will get them through, but they might have the additional games. If you get through top 8, you don't have to play the additional games in the preliminary next stage. And they've got Juventus away next, Paris Saint-Germain away after that, and then rounding it off against Club Bruges. Just having a little look at Juventus. Strange old season. They've drawn their last 3 games. They drew with Lille, they drew with Aston Villa, they drew with AC Milan, and they drew with Lecce. So 4 of the last 5 they've drawn. They're unbeaten in Serie A, but they've drawn 8 games. Bizarre.
Yeah, it's Italian football for you, I suppose, isn't it? You know, that sums it up, the classic Italian style. Yeah, keeping it very tight at the back and looking to nick something, or worst case, you get the point you started with. So,
well, have a look at it. They've scored 22 goals. They've conceded 8. And they're 6th in the table. I don't quite understand how that happens.
It should be higher.
They should be higher. So 6 wins, 8 draws, no defeats, 6th in the table. I don't think this is the Juventus of Zidane, Del Piero, Ravanelli, the great teams of old, but you can never go into these games lightly.
No, definitely not. I think it says when they win big. It's one of them clearly. So, but they're still a quality outfit. There'll be a tough challenge on Wednesday night.
Yeah, have City been at their best, do you think, in Europe this season, Keith?
I don't think they've had the full complement of players available for every single game, have they? And again, any team that's with the quality of players that are missing, it does have an effect on you. But again, I think touching on something that Bernardo said right at the end of his interview then, there's a mentality within the group to work hard. And they know they've got to work hard. When things aren't going well, you work hard. That's your starting point. And I think that, coming from a senior player within the changing room, that resonates around other players. That, as in, we're missing players, a congested fixture list and everything like that. But the mentality is we're going to work hard.
Yeah, so Champions League table, if we have a quick look at it, shows you the job that Manchester City have to do. So the top 8, well, they go straight to the round of 16. They get a nice little breather, which in any season is a good thing, especially with this expanded Champions League. You can see that Liverpool top the pile, Barcelona up there too, Dortmund, Arsenal in that top 8 as things stand. Still 3 fixtures to go. And if we scroll down a little bit, you can see the next bunch. Now, these guys go through to a playoff round, in essence, the round of 32, and it's a playoff to get into that last 16. You can see that Manchester City are in 17th. Juventus actually beneath them, but on the same points. And Club Brugge and Paris Saint-Germain, their remaining fixtures, also below City in the table. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter who you're playing against. It's just racking up the points that in this expanded Swiss format league, you need to really, ideally, be in that top 8. Buy yourself a breather.
Well, top 8, but worst case is the middle 8 for sure. So what you don't want to do is be going out. So we need to be getting up into that middle group at least now. But like I say, 3 games to go. And I mean, this is the thing with everything's not going quite City's way at the moment, but there's quality players there, a quality outfit with the best manager in the world. So, I'm always expecting it. It's coming. It will happen. It's just a matter of time. Now, hopeful that the Forest win midweek was going to be the big turning point, but today's another step, I think. We
were just seeing there the pictures of those teams that as things stand, are in the group that would be eliminated. Paris Saint-Germain, who Manchester City have got to go to in January. Next 2 games are away. Juventus, Paris Saint-Germain. Does that add that extra layer of jeopardy for City, Keith?
Well, every game's about results, isn't it? And so the better results you get, the quicker you get those results, the easier it is.
Breathing space.
Yeah, it gives you that breathing space. But again, at the minute, the mindset is we'll still be on the Premier League and Premier League points. Wednesday now, also the build-up from now, they'll be in training tomorrow, all about the preparation and the mindset of putting the team out, finding out who's available, first of all, for Wednesday, and then working on the strengths and weaknesses of the team themselves and also of the opposition.
A couple of positives I think I would take from Pep Guardiola speaking before today's game was that Manuel Akanji, he was hopeful would be involved today. He was close, he said, picked up a little injury in midweek against Nottingham Forest. Couldn't play today. He doesn't sound like he's too far away. And John Stones as well sounds like he could be on the comeback trail as well. Phil Foden's been unwell, I think, with bronchitis. Don't know how long that's going to keep him out. But with those 2 defenders, if Akanji and Stones can be fit, then it does strengthen Manchester City all the more. Yeah, definitely. I think Aki's probably looking longer term, but those 2 coming back will be an absolute blessing. I think Pep will be very hopeful that they'll be much sooner rather than later, that's for sure. Yeah, it's been a tough season for John Stones. We wish him all the best. We hope that we see him soon. So Juventus up next is on Wednesday. City 17th in the Champions League. 3 games left to play. Juventus, Paris Saint-Germain and Club Brugge, or as UEFA would ask me to call them, Club Brugge, but I can't quite do that in the old Belgian inflection. Manchester United is the big one, though, next Sunday at the Etihad. That is going to be a biggie. Make sure you're with us on Matchday Live for that. And then some more big games coming down the pipe. Aston Villa away, Everton at home on Boxing Day. And then we round off the year for Manchester City with Leicester City away from home. And then those games just keep on coming because the Champions League doesn't round off until late January. And then you've got the FA Cup 3rd round. Now is the time where you need as many bodies that you can select from, Keith.
Yeah, definitely. The fixtures, no matter about the results that you get, every single fixture that you play, at the end of it, you get different problems, different outcomes, whether that's going to be suspensions, whether that's going to be injuries, whether it's going to be fatigue. But again, then it's about regrouping and making a team or getting a team available. But again, I think the important thing, going back to what Bernardo said, the mentality is we're going to work hard. Doesn't matter what's against us, we're going to work hard.
Yeah. What will the debrief be like tonight, do you think, Kit? Long old journey back. The weather's horrible. They've had a difficult, but came away with a point with only 10
I think he'll keep it upbeat. I think for sure, because again, there's no point. I mean, it was a spirited performance as well. Like I say, it wasn't quite exactly how people would have wanted it. You know, when we're in control, you'd want to get maybe another couple of goals and make it a comfortable win, but it wasn't to be. But it was a spirited, good performance, I think, from the team. So I don't think Pep will be too critical of his players, and even if he was thinking, I don't think he'd say it because they're going straight into a big game now Wednesday. So you got to keep spirits up, and they should do anyway. Like I say, because I think it was an all-round decent performance. There's still a few things that have been problems all season that still need to be worked on and hopefully improved on. But I think Pep will be fully aware of that for sure, as the players will, and everyone else. So I think it'll be fairly upbeat.
Yeah. I hope so. So 15 games into the season for Manchester City, 4th in the Premier League table. The one thing that everyone will be aware of and the newspapers will be writing about and rival fans will be crowing about at this stage is that the top 3 now all have a game in hand on City. Arsenal and Chelsea play later on this weekend, and all 3 of them are ahead of them on points. So they will feel like they're in some lovely cushioned position at the moment, but a lot can happen between now and the end.
Well, but City have still got to play all of them as well, haven't they? So that can negate those 3 points there. It's still a long season. There's still a long way to go. And again, I think there's going to be Liverpool at the top now. They're going to find a different mentality and a different pressure being top of the league, whereby people will be trying that little bit harder because they're leading the league.
Should give Crystal Palace their due today. They led twice. They scored one good goal. I thought the first goal was really well taken from Daniel Munoz. Second one, set piece, corner comes in and Lacroix gets up above Kyle Walker, scores the second goal. But they're now 4 unbeaten, 3 of them draws. They beat Ipswich in midweek. That was a big win. And they're now 4 points above relegation. And all of a sudden, that awful start that they had under Oliver Glasner is starting to get ever so slightly better.
Yeah, I thought they played quite well today, Palace. They looked at the threat on the break, caused us a few problems. We spoke about the Diaz block in the first half, which was a brilliant opportunity. They had players like an overload there coming forward. So overall, I think they played all right, and they'll be reasonably happy. Well, I think they'll be probably more than reasonably happy with the point today, take from the game, and moving forward from the win in midweek for them as well. So no, I think it's Palace probably on the up, and they'll be quite happy with the way they're going.
Yep, I think they will. Oliver Glasner seems to have found the rhythm. Jean-Philippe Mateta didn't score against Manchester City as well, so his 2-game scoring run against City has come to an end. It's a busy week, though, on City Plus this week. Wherever you look, whichever team you follow, there's going to be coverage on Matchday Live. We have a good look at that tomorrow. Manchester City's women, 2nd in the WSL. They go at the Joy Stadium, home against Leicester City, and you can watch it only on City Plus. There's some good news from Gaz Taylor as well, the head coach. He says that Laia Alexandri, the defender, could be back in. She's missed, I think, 5 games through injury. We've already talked up Wednesday against Juventus, but there's also the Youth League, UEFA Youth League, Manchester City away at Juventus, also only on City Plus. And then on Saturday next week from 11:30 in the morning, we're on air from 11:20. We've got Manchester City's under-18s against Stoke. You get all 3 of them on City Plus. So make sure you're subscribing. I think it's only 34 quid for the year. It's great value. Loads of brilliant content that you get to see there first. And as you've just seen there, loads of access to football matches that if you don't have it, you can't see it. OK, that is pretty much all we've got time for today. Not the ideal result, but I think City, hard-fought point against a man down, 10 minutes to go. Could have snatched it, could have gone the other way. Ruben Diaz played a key role. Have you had fun, gentlemen?
It's been excellent, yeah. Really enjoyed it. It was good today, yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Keith?
Yeah, very enjoyable. Obviously not the result that we wanted, but hard work, and we're still there.
Only a couple of weeks away from your 3-meat Christmas dinner.
2-meat.
2-meat Christmas dinner. You have to go back to the pre-match show. If you didn't see it, you'll never know. Right, we're going to leave it at that. Bye-bye.
So the first ever time I trained for the first team was when I was on under 16.
Have you got a celebration lined up for when you score your first goal in a senior game?
If we're winning, knee slide, kiss the badge.
Curle keeps going, might get the strike away, does! Oh, what a hit! McCabe, nice bit of trickery, looking for the cutback, and Heskey coming onto it.
Gundogan puts into the box, and the header is in! Brilliant! Josko Guardiola! There's a bit of a gap for Rord. Can she finish? Yes, she can! Brilliant finish by Jill Rord.
The Premier League season reaches its grand finale today. Right to Mullis, who has time. He dummies the defender and fires the shot into the net.